Welcome to Bear Download at ChicagoTribune.com. I'm Rich Campbell along with Dan Wiederer. Dan, media extravaganza here today on Tuesday at House Hall. Everything crammed into this short week as the Bears looking forward to Thanksgiving Day game against the Lions. And talk this week about defensive tackle Stephen Paea. Had 2 sacks, 3 quarterback hits against the Buccaneers, and really fortifying the interior of the defensive line that is playing pretty well right now.
Yeah, I think you have to feel very encouraged about what Stephen Paea has brought to that defensive line this season. Obviously, a guy coming off a toe injury a year ago that slowed him significantly, and he's really done, as Mel Tucker said today, what's been asked of him. And in some ways, there's a value in that, a skill in that. He's got 6 sacks, 3rd in the NFL amongst defensive tackles, and he's just seemed to come up with those big plays at key times. Obviously forced an interception on Tampa Bay's first drive on Sunday, hitting Josh McCown and allowing Chris Conte to pick the ball off. Forced another fumble with a sack later in the game. A guy who was just able to be active and able to make his presence felt.
Yeah, and if you look at Paea, his strength obviously stands out. A lot of people have seen the video of him bench pressing at the combine. It's sensational. If you have not seen that, Google that immediately. But there's more than that to his game. He's a coachable player, and he's also taking advantage of the guys that are around him, Jeremiah Ratliff and Jared Allen.
Yeah, I think it's not only Jeremiah Ratliff and Jared Allen, but the coaching staff as well. Paul Pasqualoni and Clint Hurton. This is a young player who's receptive to learning. He's got a lot of guys around him who are receptive to teaching. All those guys that we just mentioned have given Stephen Paea a little bit of something to work with, and he's taken that and elevated his game. This is a guy whose contract also expires in March, and so obviously there's a chance here to cash in, whether it's here or elsewhere, on the productivity he's had this season.
Yeah, and it's an interesting situation there because the Bears obviously drafted a player in Ego Ferguson, a 2nd-round pick. That's a high pick. Could replace him as their one technique yet next year. We're going to have to see how this works out.
Yeah, no question. And obviously those are contract decisions for later dates. And Stephen Paea is just really eager to build on what he's done so far this season. And he said because of those guys around him, he gets a lot of one-on-one opportunities. And he's tried to make the most of them to this point. He's made the most of a lot of them. And obviously it has drawn the attention of his coaches and teammates. Obviously he's going to need to continue that on Thanksgiving Day in Detroit.
Yeah, against a banged-up Lions offensive line. All right. For Dan Wiederer, I'm Rich Campbell. That'll do it for Bear Download.